Mine is doing sub facing. Already? 100 and...
I think actually this one is 140 to 160.
Okay. Oh,
The range.
160.
I'm on the line with that. The white line, because they don't have white line now. The white line, the dividing line.
Abu!
Birmingham is famous for this. I think Birmingham, what about Birmingham?
So that one is actually preheated aggregate. You need to preheat the aggregate before you actually cook it. And a critical thing about cooking up asphalt is the temperature. So that's why the thermometer is there to actually gauge temperature.
Temperature range?
140, 160.
140.
Over there is a warmer,
Yeah, heater. To heat up, to make sure that the bitumen stays between 140, 160. What was that I read again? Because the bitumen, you have to preheat them so that it will maintain the temperature. Because bitumen, if it becomes too cold, the viscosity will start to change. So if you have a difference in temperature, then the coating is a bit of a problem. So you want to keep them in the same temperature.
The temperature?
140, 160 range.
Is it in the standard temperature?
Yeah. I think they're using STM, following STM. Yeah. So now they would add in the crumb rubber and hydrated lime. There are actually two processes at which the asphalt is made. One is the dry process, the other one is the wet process. So what I'm doing here is actually the dry process. It's something that you can look up to because I think the wet process is also something that you can research on. The difference between the wet and the dry process is that in the dry process you see right now that the dry ingredients are all added in together. But in the wet process, the crumb rubber that you see just now is actually added to the bitumen. So that's the difference there. And yeah.
Bitumen is 650.
Oh no, they want to add the bitumen in. Because it's hot, right? Yeah. So they tar it to 0, yeah. Then they will add in the 66
Doing the
gram.
mixing.
Yeah.
Mixing.
Just adding in the bitumen in first. So he will add bitumen in. There is. This is how many percent bitumen?
6.5.
6.5%. So this mixing is very critical because you want to have the bitumen coating on the aggregate, the crumb rubber, and the hydrated lime. So to have a very good homogeneous mix. If not, then you would have failures in your samples when you do testing. Can you see from there? You can actually just move forward though. Otherwise you will not, if you don't observe, then you wouldn't see actually what kind of, what's that mixture you want to get in your asphalt. So you see the coating now, your aggregate is almost completely coated. So that is the one that you want to achieve.
Right.
Huh?
It looks right.
6.5 is actually the optimum.
Optimum.
Almost optimum. Yeah, it'll take some time for it to completely coat it.
So the aggregate, in terms of the grading,
Yes, this one follows the wearing cost Brunei's median gradation. Yeah, because you can only do one gradation. So we take the average of the envelope. So this one follows the middle gradation. See, Nasser, it's just nice. It's almost coated.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not too
Yeah,
wet.
yeah, okay.
You don't want to have excess bitumen.
Good looking.
Yeah.
Nasi goreng.
Yeah. I told him to stand by 10 people's portion already. Yeah.
Oh, mee goreng also.
He's actually quite expert. He's been doing this for many years. This is his expertise. So, very trusted lah.
I thought he doesn't know how to make nasi goreng.
I think at night also he's out. I always say that even at night when he's sleeping, he's probably just goreng something. If you come closer, you can see that, compared to just now earlier, so the bitumen has completely coated the aggregate. This is actually what you want to achieve, even in lab as well as at the site there.
Well coated.
the crumb rubber is still intact or?
It's still there. It's still there. When you see when you see here, they are probably still loose, but when you see when they compact, yeah. Those there on the table are tested. You can later go there and get a feel of it. Because crumb rubber, there is there is a limit to how much you need to add. Too much means to say it will become too flexible, too elastic. So, and it's not a good thing as well. So here we are trying to determine at least where is the optimum crumb rubber content with respect to the binder's content, the air voids content, and basically the Marshall parameters now. Be careful, there's very hot. So even the mold is also heated, So for one binder content or one combination, they will do about 3 samples to get an average. So like today he's doing 2 combinations, so there are 6 samples.
The bitumen grade
60-70.
is the standard or?
Yes, Brunei standard. This research is based on Brunei's specs, yes. So the only thing that's different is just adding the hydrated lime and the crumb rubber. Hydrated lime is meant for anti-stripping. Yeah. Roads that we see without hydrated lime, they tend to strip meaning to say the bitumen and the aggregate they start to split off. So hydrated lime is to minimize that.
Have you added the lime already?
Yes, the white color, the white powder you see, yeah. One standard, 60-70. That's the one that's in use in Brunei. 60-70. So that is one sample down, and he has 6 more to prepare. So that one, he's bringing it to the compaction.
Are you UTV also? Are you from UTV? How many kilos?
75.
Huh?
75.
75.
Top and bottom.
So on the field, equivalent to how many passes? On the field.
Let me go back and check and let you know.
Asking her on the field, how many passes?
How many packs do you combine?
75.
This one is another
Sample. 3.
3 combination.
No, there's
same.
2 combinations, but one combination is 3 samples to get average.
Oh, okay.
So this is the second of the,
Of the same
one
combination.
of the same combination.
How about the mechanical strength of the aggregate? Is it being tested?
This, yeah. We have the aggregate crushing value, aggregate impact value, and Los Angeles
Oh,
abrasion value
so
with the 3 of them.
Okay.
Where do you get it from?
Huh?
Where do you get the aggregates from?
This one is from, this is diorite from Malaysia. Yeah, Malaysia diorite.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
No more from Temburong, of course. No more from Temburong.
Temburong is sandstone.
Yeah, no more there. You don't use anymore.
The sandstone cannot be used for. It's not. It does not. What's that? Fulfill the criteria.
Okay. Mechanical strength, not enough.
Of the aggregate. I also had one set that uses Malaysia's, Indonesia's granite.
Oh, okay.
So again, when we listen to diorite and granite, we might think that granite is a stronger material. But in actuality, in this region, it depends. The aggregate strength depends on the region. So it's not the name that will ring and tell you the strength. So here,
That's why you still do this.
yes. So it's not reliable to depend on the books, by the name. So it's very hard. Because Mr. Lamika shared with me that there are some granite actually stronger than diorite. Yeah.
curing for the sample?
Curing? No, they just compact it for 24 hours. And then they will extrude it.
They leave it for 24 hours.
Yeah, they'll extrude it. And then this is the extruded sample.
So the temperature of the room doesn't affect.
No, they leave it outside at room temperature. They will not leave it inside here. But of course, if research purpose, they usually want to. Yeah, and the thing is that they will also investigate the temperature impact of temperature on curing, the duration of curing. But because this is just there is no chemical reaction, not like concrete, cements react with water. So the curing there is more essentially important than this one. This is to measure the density, specific density.
Ini particular project.
This is mine.
Oh, your project.
Still mine. This is from yesterday's.
Oh, right.
Yeah, from yesterday.
This for some road.
No. This is from mine.
You ask them to do it for you?
Yeah, that's why I say I have no money to do it anymore, right? Because
No money.
That's why you ask them to do it.
What's the what is it? You have the financial officer. UTV. We
they
all
do.
support. Don't worry.
Are you really?
We recommend. We recommend.
Recorded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Recorded, ah? Can claim, huh?
Yeah. Bring those people on the top come here and then have a look.
Yes, they should. Actually, it's a good thing because in our lab we don't have this, and it's a good research though. When you look at the condition of the road in Brunei, then you definitely see the need of having done this research. So this is what's that? He's measuring the weight when the sample is in water, submerged in water.
So.
Yeah, soak. So they will soak for 15 minutes again in here, in this cup later, just to see the absorption, whether or not the sample will absorb water. This is, soak. This is not curing.
Soap CBR.
So, no, this is not CBR, this is asphalt. CBR is a different one. CBR is meant for soil, aggregate soil. So this is measuring the density.
So measuring density is why they soap.
Yeah, they want to see if once the sample is saturated with water, so what is the weight? This is a dense grade. If you look into hot mix asphalt, there's 3 types of gradation: the dense graded, the gap graded, and then there's one more, the porous graded. So this one is dense graded.
Reading water.
Yeah, water.
Okay.
Have to calibrate the weight.
Is it 15 minutes? Not 15 minutes.
No, here, 15 here. Yeah, this one. 15 minutes here.
Oh, this is just soap.
This is soap. They want to get the weight in when the sample is in water.
Okay.
Yeah. So they can get the GMM. That's the bulk density. Because you will need this value to calculate the VA, VFB, VFA.
In England, road research station. Itu dalam road research. Road research
Road research.
station in England. They have
TRL.
special lab dedicated to highway.
Which one? Which lab?
In England, UK.
Oh, the trans.
Research. Now it's DRL.
Oh, TRL. Okay.
They have all kind of for water also dedicated lab also for water. For building, all
I'm-
kind of test.
I'm interested in road right now. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. One thing.
No, yeah.
Yes. Because we don't have, there is no lab to actually do other, to find the modulus, the fatigue. So it's kind of
So we have
lacking now.
to go hand in hand with the lab facility.
And the specification also have to update to, what's that, account for all these things. Then you will see that, you know, more labs will be established to fulfill this kind of criteria.
Yeah.
Pick up the height measures lah. So this is where the soaking for 15 minutes will take place. Yeah. To see the absorption if for the mixture, if you add it in, so the mixture will have air voids. So you want to measure how much of the water get absorbed. So they will again after that they will remeasure it and to see how much of water absorption it takes place. She will share with you later the form, and then she will explain to you what we measured just now and then why is it critical we measured that, and then she will be the one to do the explanation. Yeah, you explain later why the form. You explain the form, yeah.
Stability. So that's what 4.41. Look.
There, he will see 0, 0. They calibrate to 0, 0.
They're moving. 1.22.
So one cycle is 1, no? Yeah. That one is 4% crumb rubber. You see? Later you can see the rubbers already. Okay.
Stop automatic. Ya, ya sih ada dial gitu. Kalau sekiranya ada move saya okay. Kalau dia menahan. And stop manually. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Bye bye.
.51. 0.91.